Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. If you've heard of the Chronometre Bleu, but you weren't able to get on a wait list, consider what's effectively the Chronometre Black. As good as the Chronometre Souverain gets, this is the FP Journe Chronometre Souverain Black Label exclusive edition for existing Journe owners. In Platinum 950, you can see and you can purchase this Platinum Chronometre Souverain Black Label on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos. And please click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full sales listing for this watch with additional accessories included in the sale, high resolution images for your desktop, and naturally complete pricing details for this FP Journe Chronometre Souverain Black Label. Now, the Black Label is special, whereas the Boutique Edition is exclusive to FP Journe vendors, namely factory stores. This is even a little bit more exclusive because you have to be buying from a factory store and be able to prove that you have previously purchased a new FP Journe. So not just for factory stores and not just for owners, but for owners who have previously purchased new Journe watches. Well, the antidote to that kind of exclusivity is to buy one pre-owned for instant gratification, and that's what this watch offers. As you can see, the timepiece on my wrist is 40 millimeters in diameter, not including the crown, relatively slim in profile. It'll fit underneath any dress cuff, only 8.8 millimeters thick. It lives up to FP Journe's billing of the watch as both a chronometer grade timepiece and classically slim in profile. From lug to lug, it's a modern size at 48.3, but it's not oversized, and the spacing between the lugs is 20 millimeters. So this is a timepiece that is easy to accessorize with aftermarket and Journe factory straps, or should you wish to go that route, the bracelet. Now, the timepiece has a relatively slim but substantial alligator leather strap, semi-gloss, rectangular scale, monotone stitch, folded edges. You can see it uses curved spring bars to allow for a tight and tidy cinched look. Up against the case, there's very little daylight visible between case and strap. Now, because the spring bars are curved, you're able to pull them straight down. They don't pin themselves against the case flank. So if you have that smaller wrist, if your wrist is even as small as 14 centimeters in circumference, I believe you're going to be able to wear this watch with both security and style. Now, you'll also note that the strap on its underside features a second layer of alligator leather. Uncommon, a little bit more expensive, but ensures that Journe straps last longer, as gator is tougher than the typical calfskin used on the underside of luxury straps. So yes, this is potentially a half-decade strap unless you absolutely sweat a mess on it. That said, if you do, there is a pull-tab spring bar feature that allows you to remove the strap for close cleaning between the lugs or simply to swap shoes on your watch. A simple platinum FP Journe pin buckle does yeoman duty when the time comes to adjust for expanding or contracting wrist during active or inactive periods, hot or cold environments, and critically, it is a platinum pin buckle. FP Journe does not short you the platinum and give a white gold as many manufacturers regrettably do today. Now, the case itself is simple and familiar. The case band somewhat recessed inboard from the lip of the bezel as well as the case back. Fluid lugs with compound curves. You can see they have tumble home from the center to the side as well as a tuck and a curvature when viewed horizontally. The entire case is in high polish. This is FP Journe's style. Only in rare instances is a satin or a blasted finish employed. This watch having a little bit more flair and flamboyance than a Chronometre Bleu with its tantalum case, but also significantly more heft as it is fully platinum. The dial features a combination of the Chronometre Souverain signature small second, hours, minutes, and inverted power reserve with the stylized Journe font numerals outboard. It's a bit of a quirky dial. As you can see, it starts with a traditional railroad track outboard, and we get close now that the watch is off the wrist, but it has the traditional railroad track outboard. And you'll note that that gives way to stylized Arabic numerals, which, though they appear to be a luminescent material, in fact are not. They're there for high contrast against the matte black base. You'll also note that where necessary, they expand and contract as the numerals 7 and 8 are compressed to make room for the countersunk small seconds with its open counterweight baton-style seconds hand and its own miniature railroad track. The center dial features a stamped diamond plate cut. This is what's sometimes known as a barleycorn pattern rather than clou de Paris, and you'll note that the hands are Journe's signature biomorphic form at center for hours and minutes. There's also a cut into the dial, or I should say an embossed recess in the dial for the power reserve scale, which charts the 56-hour reserve de marche, but it does move backwards, meaning when the indicator is at 0, the watch is full. The significance is that it will have been 0 hours since you fully wound the watch. Simple, effective, and distinctively Journe. Journe told me that this is the first part of a watch he designs, because if the dial isn't attractive, why bother? The crown is a distinctive form. You can see the double perforations with the knurled exterior that is signature of FP Journe. And then on the case back, a number of features that stand out. First, this is a very early black label. Black label started in 2008. Journe's collaboration with Parisian casemaker Eleanor, which created all of his cases since his days as a pocket watchmaker, ended in 2008. So there was 1 year of overlap between Eleanor cases and the black label. And you'll note that this watch has double hallmarks for both France, Eleanor, as well as Switzerland, FP Journe's manufacturer, plus the Eleanor maker's mark right next to the signature PT950. So this is a little bit of a watch between eras, and thus scarce and collectible as a result. If this were a Rolex, this would be one of those things guys go to war over on fora. Fortunately, the Journe collector scene is a bit more chill. It's merely an interesting historical footnote. What is commanding about the caseback, however, is the architecture and composition of caliber 1304. Now, in the tradition of FP Journe since 2004, the movement is 18 karat rose gold. That is, it's solid gold unplated. Also, the nomenclature 1304 means 13 French lignes is the size of the movement. Multiply 13 by roughly 2.25 to convert to millimeters. And 04 is the year work on the movement started. The Chronometre Souverain debuted in 2005. Now, you'll note twin mainspring barrels. Yes, they do give you a better power reserve than the industry standard 38 to 42, but they're not so much there to give you the 56 hours of power as they are to ensure a very even release of torque from maximum wind to minimum wind. That's the advantage of twin mainspring barrels in series. What you'll also note is that the balance beating away at 21,600 vibrations per hour appears to be propelled by an invisible hand, as there's no visible link between the barrels and the escapement, which you can see chattering away below the balance. This is because Journe runs the Chronometre Souverain drivetrain underneath the dial side to create a sort of invisible time bridge separating the power source of the watch from the timing organ of the watch. It allows the channels between the bridges to be opened up, so you can see the triple finish, linear Côte de Genève across the bridges. You'll note that there's a sort of soleil or sun ray radiating out from the barrels themselves, and then there's a tight and even micro perlage below the balance. All screw heads are black polished. It's a 22 joule 6-position adjusted movement, so to justify putting the stamp chronometre on the watch without subjecting to the COSC's testing regimen, Journe undergoes both the fundamental engineering to create the most accurate watch possible, and then 6-position adjustment, which is one more than the typical standard for the COSC, which is typically 5-position adjustment, and then you can make the COSC with considerable ease. Journe gives error and deviation no place to hide by adjusting in all 6 standard positions. You also note that the balance is free sprung, which endows it with a measure of shock resistance as well as the ability to take and hold a precise regulation. Furthermore, you'll note that the balance is very, very large, with a 10.10 milligram per centimeter squared moment of inertia. It has considerably more heft and inertia to it than, for example, the high rate balances you'll see in the likes of a Brigade Type 22 or a Zenith El Primero. This one resists shock-induced timing deviation and vibration-induced timing deviation with sheer mass and momentum. This is a handsome watch, beautifully executed, hand-finished, tremendously precise, and as I said, if you're burned out on Chronometre Bleu fatigue, consider the Chronometre Black, or in the lingua franca of FP Journe, Chronometre Noir. See it and own it on our website.